talking.
Dang, that's a good view right there.
We look like we're gonna be laying down and just.
We're going live in 5,
We're live
4,
in 5.
3.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Carlos.
And I'm Emrah.
And this is One Touch, the group of passionate individuals really just talking about any soccer-related subject.
Anything and everything.
Anything and everything. If you guys want to get to know us more, click this link right here. We do have a mission statement. We do have an overall...
Who we are.
Yeah, exactly. Who we are, our goals. And they are primarily U.S. based. So we do want to open up the whole, bring to light U.S. soccer. But we're not just going to stop there. We're going to talk about everything else we can, any football related subject.
Yep.
If this is your first time at this video, welcome. Click this link here because we do have a prequel to our sequel where we open up with setting the foundation, where soccer starts, so you can better understand more or less the intricacies of soccer overall. And then we're going to dial it into the US. Okay. So without further ado, you ready to get right into it?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. All right. So, Emrah, like you said, FIFA created back in 1904.
Yep.
Later on, created or established the continental level of
Confederations.
Yep. This was for them to better organize tournaments, better really just organize the continents themselves.
Yes,
at
and
an organizational
who's going to play
level.
who?
Yep.
What does it mean to be part of UEFA or a specific confederation, and being just part of that community really as well?
Yeah, exactly. So where we left off was the 6 confederations, but let's first start with UEFA, because I think it's going to be important for us to kind of set
that's a good start,
a good foundation on top of our foundation.
So a lot of you that already know about soccer or football, you guys probably have some kind of semblance about UEFA perhaps, and kind of what that confederation is, what that entails, and who the members are, and what it's structured like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for those of you who don't, UEFA, or each confederation, has its top league or its like top trophy. In this case, it's the Champions League. The UEFA Champions League is like the pinnacle of Europe.
Pinnacle of success. On the continent of Europe.
If you win that cup, you're better than all the European countries.
Clubs.
Clubs.
All the other clubs.
That year.
Correct.
So every single year this competition happens. Okay. There's a lot of set rules behind it. And they basically duke it out. And the winner of that is the winner, or the Champions League winner.
Yep. And they're the best team in Europe.
Yeah. So let's, break it down even more. Let's say I'm a team in England. I'll just say Manchester United.
Okay.
For the sake of it, because I'm a Man U fan.
Yikes.
I'm sad, but look, they're going to come. They're going to come.
Moving on.
So let's say Manchester United, they're in the Premier League. That is the country's league. So in England, the Premier League is like the top league.
Yep. There's leagues underneath, of course. So there is a pyramid. Think of the pyramid. You've got your triangle at the very top. You have the Premier League in England. Underneath that, you have what's called, ironically enough, sounds just as good, the Championship. And then you have leagues below that as well. Mm-hmm. But those lower level leagues, we'll talk more about that when it comes to another aspect of these leagues and how teams can bounce up and down between these leagues. But for the most part, we're just going to focus on the top leagues of each nation, with the Premier League being England's top league.
Exactly. And if you were to put it another way, like in college, it's your D1. Premier League is like a D1.
Yeah.
Then you have your D2, which is, like you said, the championship.
Yep, the championship,
That's
and
your
then
D2,
so on and so
D3,
forth.
D4,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. A lot of these countries, they have very similar, if not the exact same setup. So
Correct. Yep.
I know Italy has that, France has that, Spain has that. So you have all these like divisions within that. Now, so Premier being the D1, if you win the Premier League, you win D1 league.
Yep, and you're the best team in all of England, and not just winning the league, but if you were to go in and finish really well in that league, you would end up playing in the Champions League as well.
Exactly.
Which is a very interesting point, right?
Yeah.
You're playing in multiple leagues at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. That's where it gets super interesting because then you boil it down, the FA Cup, which is another cup
Yeah.
that all the divisions within England play
Yes.
against. So
Yeah.
D1, D2, D3, D4, let's say schools.
I believe it's up to I think it's
D3?
like I think it's like 700 clubs.
Holy cow.
700 clubs can enter the FA Cup. So there's a lot of rounds
Wow.
and a lot of rounds of that tournament. But think of it as an in-season tournament where you're going to play various teams across England. And eventually, usually for the most part, the best teams in England are going to be in the later stages and probably the winners and the semifinalists.
You do find D1, D2s and D3s getting up to the tire, like let's say to the semifinals and even the finals.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, you will more often than not find yourself with a D1 winning the FA Cup.
Yep, correct.
It's just a very interesting way of the setup. It's a really cool setup. And like you said, it was just another cup within a cup. So England has the Prem, it has the FA, and then it has the Champions League. So if again I'm Manchester United, I win the Premier League. If I win the FA Cup and I win the Champions, I win a treble. Okay. If I just win the Prem and the FA, I win a double.
Yep.
Which is, guys, these are like prestigious things. They don't happen very often.
Yes, very hard to win one of those, let alone a number of them.
Yeah. So it's super, super prestigious. And then likewise with all the other countries, Italy, France, Spain, a lot of these have that same structure where they'll have like kind of cups within their cups.
Yep.
So, like you said, when as England, if I am Manchester United, I just won the Premier League, I get a ticket or an entry.
Yep, you get a berth or an entry into
the next year into the Champions League.
Into the Champions League.
So today it's the top the top 5 countries get 4 teams, which is England, Spain, France, Germany, and England.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the way those countries are determined as that they're the top in UEFA, that's also complicated based on coefficient and their rankings within the coefficient. Something we'll get into in another episode.
Yeah.
The number 6 league in UEFA, they're going to get 3 teams. And then your teams or your nations 7 through 15, they each get 2 teams going in. And then below that, everyone gets 1 or sometimes even none if they just don't qualify in the early rounds.
Yeah. So then that's how you get into the Champions. Again, that's why it's so prestigious, because for one, it's hard to get into. You have to be a really good team to get into the Champions League. Then you have to be a really good team to win the Champions League. On top of that, you're playing league games for your own country while also playing in league tournaments as well. So you're playing a bunch of games. It's a lot on your plate. And then again, if you're winning these, that just says a lot about your team already.
That you can really beat anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So if we zoom it back, that was a UEFA. Each one of these confederations have their own Champions League, if you will. And likewise, so does the CONCACAF.
Yep.
So like we mentioned before, guys, our goal is to get into U.S. soccer.
Yep.
And likewise, the CONCACAF, we're in the CONCACAF. U.S. or the MLS is in the CONCACAF.
Yep.
But we needed to break that down for you guys to understand this next part. Okay. CONCACAF.
So that's a confederation of FIFA. And that has a host of different nations that are part of CONCACAF. One of them being the U.S., and then, of course, you've got other countries like Canada and Mexico. For the most part, you have all of your Central American
Yep.
countries.
Costa Rica,
You have
El
all of
Salvador.
your Caribbean countries. And then you even have a couple countries in South America, which kind of sounds a little weird because South America has its own confederation. But they're in the background, there is a little reason why those countries are in CONCACAF compared to the rest of South America. But again, something we can discuss at another time.
That's the crazy thing about all this is that there's just so much to dive into.
There's
It's
so
kind of
many-
crazy.
There's so many rules. There's so many rules. Then there's exceptions to the rules.
Yeah,
And then there's exceptions to the exceptions.
exactly.
So there's
that's
a
what-
this
that's
is
what
a
we're
lot.
here
This
for.
is a lot to go through, guys.
Okay, so breaking it down a little more, in a general sense, in the CONCACAF, some of the top leagues are number one. The MLS is one of the top ones. The Liga MX
Which
is
is the
another one,
Mexican
which is
league.
the Mexican league.
Yep.
And then Central America, I think Costa Rica. You
Costa
said
Rica,
was the next
I believe
one.
Costa Rica is the third best team based on, or third best league based on, again, this coefficient, which again, that's kind of like a multi-year meta-analysis of like how good are these teams against other countries' teams, etc.
Yeah. And when you pull it all together, if you were to do the same comparison, okay, the CONCACAF Champions League, similar to the UEFA League.
I believe it's called the Champions Cup.
Yes.
Yes, CONCACAF Champions,
Champions
Cup.
Cup.
It used to be
No,
called
wait,
the
it is?
Champions League.
Really?
Yes, it used to be called the Champions League. Maybe like, I think maybe 2019, and then they changed it.
I didn't even
It's
know
a
that.
Champions Cup
oh,
now.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
So the CONCACAF Champions Cup, similarly like the Champions League,
is
the
the
UEFA
top
one,
tournament in
is the top.
CONCACAF.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So if you win the Champions Cup in CONCACAF, you are basically the
best
best team
in
this continent. Okay?
in this, in North America, Central America, and the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what does the ballots look like? You get 6 tickets for the Liga MX, gets 6 tickets.
So
to
6 different
enter.
clubs for
Yep.
Liga MX.
So
Would like Club America be one?
absolutely, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
More on that.
More on that one. So Central America gets 6 ballots. The Caribbean, they get 3. The Canadian, they get 2. The Canadian Championship winner gets to go
Oh,
in.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
U.S. Open winner gets to go.
Oh yeah.
The 3 League Cup finalists, so first, second, and third of the League Cup. We'll
Yeah.
unpack that one here in a little bit. They get to go, and then you also get the top 5 teams in the MLS get to go to the CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah.
Again, it's a very prestigious cup. It's hard to get in. It's even harder to win it because you are facing some of the best teams in all of North America.
Oh yeah.
So we mentioned a couple of these.
Yep.
But you have the U.S. Open Cup, you have the Leagues Cup, and then you have the MLS Supporter Shield, which is basically the leagues, the in-league or the actual league.
Yeah. So
game or match.
so a little bit about the MLS. We're gonna get into the again what I mentioned earlier, the pyramid over in England. We're gonna get into the pyramid, the North American pyramid, with the MLS being at the top. But I do want to point out that the MLS is the top league currently. Now, I say currently because it's a little more nuanced, possibly in the future. But currently, it is the top league in the United States and Canada. When it comes to the United States and Canada, when it comes to sports, especially, those two are kind of like joined at the hip. The Canadian Premier League does exist now as well, but for the most part, there are several Canadian teams in the MLS as well. But the MLS is the best team or the best league, and the best American and Canadian teams are in the MLS, more or less.
Yep. So theoretically speaking, if you were to win the MLS Supporter Shield, you would win the league.
Yeah, kind of like
You could
winning the
play-
Premier League.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can play in the U.S. Open Cup, has all divisions, D1, D2, D3.
Yeah, I think that one's open
That's
similar to the FA Cup in England, where it's like hundreds and hundreds of
yeah.
teams, like all the way down to semi-professional teams are playing in the U.S. Open Cup.
Yep. And that would be your FA Cup. And so theoretically speaking, right? If you win those two and you win the champions, you would win a treble.
You would win the treble. Yep.
So I don't know if anyone's honestly. This is
that would be good to find out.
I want to figure that out too.
It would have to be. I did a little background on who's won the Champions Cup. And it's mainly Mexican teams. It'd have to be like Club America or like Monterrey or someone like that.
Yeah. That's a
we'll find out.
We'll
check back.
We'll unpack that as well. But for the time being, then we also have the Leagues Cup, which is only Mexican and U.S. teams. Started off in 2019, believe it or not. This is a very new cup. So only Mexican and U.S. teams can play in that one. That's where you get those 3 entries or those 3 ballots to play for the Champions League. And then on top of that, this is where it gets really interesting. The Supporter Shield is structured like the European leagues, where you just play your flat out games.
You play
and the team with the highest points,
the most points, usually, which means the most wins.
The most wins, yep. They get the Supporter Shield.
Yep.
There's no tournament. There's nothing like
in Europe.
There's no finals. Yep. In Europe, there's no finals. There's nothing. You end the season. If you get the most points, you won.
Yep.
That's it. But then
it's a little different here, huh?
Yeah, it's a little different here because we also have the MLS Cup.
Yeah, which are basically, if you're here in the U.S. and you're watching from the U.S., you would probably know something called playoffs. Like NBA has playoffs, hockey, NHL, MLB has the World Series. So it's basically playoffs. Yep. After the season's over, the regular season, quote unquote, you then have a playoff of the best teams from that season.
Yep.
So usually it's like the top half of the league. I would have to check again how many teams get into the MLS Cup. But then the MLS Cup winner, which is basically a knockout tournament, the winner of the MLS Cup is actually the MLS winner.
You're a goddamn genius. That's the most outstanding answer I've ever heard.
Of that season. They're the actual winner.
Yeah. So, again, going back to theoreticals, theoretically speaking, you could get a quadruple. If you win the Supporter Shield
I guess MLS, you could. I guess technically
it'd be a quadruple, right?
Yeah. Because the Supporter Shield is its own
because you can win the supporters, but you can't win the MLS Cup.
You could get knocked out.
You could get knocked out. So
that's
where it gets really cool.
Yeah.
So, okay.
What else we got?
So then we also got the Campeones Cup. And that one's just simply the winner of, I think it's the Supporter Shield's winner of the MLS plays against the Mexicans like winner as well. So it's just the winner against the winner. There's one game.
Yep.
They play against each other. Winner becomes the campeón.
Okay.
It's really what it is. Campeón of basically it's a champions of champions is what it is.
Yeah.
To get there, you just have to win.
Yeah. You'll see that there's kind of like a theme of like the MLS clubs and the Liga MX clubs are like the best teams in CONCACAF. And any other team in any other league, if they go far or knock out a bigger Mexican or American team, that is a big deal to them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's I think that's what makes it really interesting is there's almost like a really fun rivalry within just a lot of different cups and games and this and that. If you're watching all of this go down, then you start to be like, oh, this is what I want to support. This is who I want to support. And then you really start to understand why it's important to watch some of these games. And some of these don't get that level of broadcast. So
and then a lot of these matches, like you mentioned, some of these matches are very important to, you know, what are they going to be playing next year? Are they going to be playing in the Champions Cup next year?
Mm-hmm.
You know, are they going to be playing in the Campeones Cup if they finish, you know, and win the MLS Cup or the Liga MX title? So it all matters. It all means something. These are all very meaningful matches.
Furthermore, with the new structure of the Club World Cup, these are qualifications to get there. So if you go into the champions, you win the champions, you get a ballot to the Club World Cup.
Yep.
Likewise, I think you get a ballot if you win. I think like a couple years ago, the Campeones Cup was a ballot to get into. But we're gonna unpack that another time because honestly, that's even a beast of its own.
Yes.
To go into.
And guys, just as a reminder, we're only talking about clubs right now.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the nations themselves playing against each other. We're not talking about like the huge rivalry of U.S. men's national team versus the Mexican national team.
Yep.
We're not talking about that. We're just talking about clubs. We're talking about like clubs like LA Galaxy, Club America,
Cincinnati FC.
Yep. So just those clubs, and as you can see, it's complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really just a lot. And believe me when I tell you guys this, we still haven't scraped
we
the
haven't.
surface.
We really haven't.
We're barely just getting into it, guys.
Yeah.
So
we've been hinting at a lot of things. That we're like, oh wait, there's that, and we can't talk about that.
We can't talk about that.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you guys didn't like something, let us know in the comments below.
What
if
we can improve on.
Tell us what you liked. Okay, we got a lot more. And what is that?
What is it?
Relegation.
Promotion, relegation? Is that what we're going to talk about next?
Promotion and relegation.
Oh, wow.
Is it the same as European? I don't know. You got to watch the next episode.
Narrator
next time,
says,
guys.
It's probably not.
Yeah, we'll see.